Continuing on our Nintendo Power-fied journey with issue number 2 released in the months of September and October 1988. We already established that how Nintendo Power's debut was a great move for not just Nintendo but its fans, so they continued the momentum by releasing the next issue not long after. And since this is a sequel of sorts, they continued their trend of featuring highly anticipated sequels with the cover game for that month as Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest. The original Castlevania is what many would regard as an all-time classic, but Simon's Quest was a huge detour for the series as a whole as they would go to a more open world route with a few notable gameplay choices thrown in. Fans of the first were still excited for it to be released here in the US, and readers for Nintendo Power were greeted with a parent-concerning cover. We know that this is supposed to be Simon Belmont and all, but he looks nothing like his box art version. Not sure why he resembles more of a Roman general, but overall I kinda like it. Also, apparently when you kill a vampire and remove their heads, their eyes glow red. Talk about one creepy Nintendo nightlight. Also, must have missed the part about there being a pit of hell being in Simon's Quest. Open up the first 2 pages and we get the advert for the NES, a tidal wave of gaming advert to be exact. Not sure why exactly they wanted to advertise the console like this, but wouldn't there be something related to fall or going back to school to represent this for that matter? You could have used it as a way for kids to be playing it while they're actually supposed to be studying. But that's not the least of our worries here. Kid is surfing, and on top of that, he's balancing a ton of NES games. Pretty sure his parents wouldn't like the fact that he's swimming around water with a bunch of brand new in-box games. Parents must have spent a fortune on these, considering they'd be like $60 to $70 per box game. And they're saying that there's over 100 of these? Man, he's gonna be grounded for a while. Moving on to the main games for the month that are featured in this issue are Bionic Commando, Life Force, more coverage on Mario Bros. 2, RC Pro-Am, Go-Go 13, Blaster Master, and Renegade. While I like the choices they showed already, the same can't be said for Renegade. Of all the titles that Taito released, Legend of Kage and Renegade are some of my least favorites that they would ever release. I know that they want people to buy up everything Nintendo as possible, but if you wanted to have representation for the beat-em-up genre, just stick with covering more Double Dragon stuff. Heck, I'm pretty sure that there is some secrets that they didn't mention about before that people would be interested to see for themselves. On to more questionable matters is the poster of the month for Bionic Commando. It looks fine for the most part, until you realize that certain things about it don't add up. Nathan Spencer looks nothing like he is on the in-game and box art versions. I know it bears repeating with how we already mentioned about this for the cover art for the month, but Spencer here doesn't even resemble what he really looks like. The only thing that would even indicate that he is who we say he is his trademark grapple hook that is attached to his arm. Even the walkthrough for Bionic Commando even shows off the actual box art version. And the robots for the front cover look more like Ed 209's, but honestly, that's kind of a cool change. Last time I talked about how I felt about classified information in Counselor's Corner that should be one big category. But for some reason, they decided to switch both sections instead. Counselor's Corner for the month featured more info on Zelda 1's first and second quest, finding warp zones in the first Super Mario Bros., various bosses in Metroid, and to locate the credit card item for Kid Icarus. Back with the adventures of Howard and Nestor for this month, as you can see Howard coming up to Nestor's house to find he's been acting a little like a know-it-all video gaming wizard, and basically gets ratted out by Howard at the end. Once again, Nestor doesn't like that. Moving over to video shorts, and some of the more notable titles for the month are 1943 by Capcom, Jackal by Konami, and Adventure Island by Hudson Soft. On top of that, they feature a new section which they dub as the Classics. Basically shows the earliest depictions of re-releases for modern consoles at the time. In Pack Watch, not much is offered this time around. Only things to note are previews for Mickey Mouse, which would get a relabeling for Mickey Mousecapade, Tecmo Bowl, Bubble Bobble, and the first Ninja Turtles game. I know that it gets a lot of bad rap overall, but I kinda like the TMNT game. For NES Journal, they previewed a new bundle that was coming to stores called the Power Set, which would basically be a combo set that would include Mario Duck Hunt cart with the inclusion of world-class track meet, the newly rebranded Family Fun Fitness Pad, now named the Power Pad, and the NES Control Deck with all hookups and controllers. Along with that was a sit-down interview with the development studio for Rare. Quick thing to note, in NES Achievers, they offer advice on the earliest ways for people to screenshot their high scores to submit for any issue of Nintendo Power. And honestly, I do like this illustration. When we last talked in the first issue overview, I did state that we were going to cover over every single top 30 column where people would vote for their favorite games they were playing for the month. Well, it looks like it was so popular enough that the total points for the top 5 went from the hundreds over to the thousands. So to kick things off in the top 5, Legend of Zelda, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Metroid, Super Mario Bros., and Kid Icarus would maintain that spot. Spots 6 through 10 would see a decent amount of change, with Double Dragon coming in at its debut spot at number 6, which would cause Double Dribble to bump down all the way to number 16. Rad Racer would go down on the list, and then Contra Mega Man all would advance up to the list and would inch even closer to the top 10. The newly debuted Zelda 2 drops in at number 17, however the same cannot be said for Super Mario Bros. 2, appearing at number 28. Overall, there's nothing major for this issue, but still a lot of fun to read off the heels of issue number 1.